My name is Catherine Wyatt Morley, and I am founder and CEO of Women on Maintaining Education and Nutrition, and I am living with HIV.
Of The Truth in the Church Girl. I'm your host, Shay.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Simone.
And Kim is not with us today because she had to do ministry work, but we will be holding it down in her stead, okay?
Yes. Hi, Kim.
Listen, so we got the mind, the body, the spirit, and some folks are kind of sick in those areas.
Definitely,
right?
yeah.
The mind got a whole lot of things going on. There's not no peace. We don't have peace in the mind. Folks is just doing all kinds of things. They thinking all kinds of things. They accepting all kinds of things. Then you got the spirit that's just infected with stuff, right? It's infected with stuff, right? And then you got that soul piece that's just lost. And then the body, a whole lot of things go on in the body.
Absolutely.
One of the things that's true is you have stuff that happens in the body that can be brought on by the thoughts from your mind.
Yes.
Right? Because they say things like stress can cause your body to do stuff.
It absolutely does.
Isn't there like pregnant women or women who are not pregnant but think they're pregnant and then they start showing symptoms of that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's all mental.
It's
all mental.
Okay. Then you have those things in your health that are you know you get sick and then you don't have any cure for it.
Right.
Right? Now, here's something that I always say to people. Everything is a cancer. I always say that. Everything's a cancer. No matter what you go to the hospital for. You know, if you got something wrong with your finger and you go to the hospital, they call it a cancer.
They sure
you
do.
stump your toe in the morning, you
They
go and
sure
try to,
do.
that's
Right.
cancer. All these different things. And there's not all these cures for cancer. And then sometimes you can, you know, go through your chemotherapy and stuff like that and be cured. But then there are certain things that you do, you know, that and you will develop something that you can't be cured from.
Definitely.
Right.
You know? And I think a lot of people are dealing with that part of health, just being sick and not having a cure for it.
Right.
So, I mean, what do you ladies think about it? I know that that's where we're going with today's show because we all need to be whole, spirit, mind, body, being in good health. What does that even look like?
I mean, being told that you are facing an illness of some sort that has no cure. I mean, I know that there's so many different things that enter one's mind at that time, especially since one side of your mind is probably thinking that this is the end. I've hit a brick wall. This is the end of life as I know it. But I believe that the same way that things begin in the mind and it infiltrates the body in a negative way, positivity starts in the mind as well, and it affects the body in a positive way. Yes. So I think if people would kind of just balance it all out and really take a step back and think about what it is inevitably, it'll be a different situation for them to go through the process with.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But that's where we're going with today's show. We're going to talk about the mind. We're going to talk about the body. We're going to talk about the spirit. We're going to talk about wholeness because you need to be whole, mind, body, and spirit. And we have some awesome guests for today. We have someone that will be coming to talk about. Her motto is HIV stops with me. HIV stops with me. That's her motto. And she'll be coming to talk about that. And we also have Alicia Johnson.
Yes, we have the phenomenal Alicia Johnson of Always Journal. And she teaches you one journal entry at a time how to get the life that God created for you.
Oh, nice.
So she's all about spirit, mind, and body. So she'll be here today too. Can't wait to have her.
Love it, love it.
Show. Y'all better stay tuned with us. We will be right back to talk about wholeness, spirit, mind, and body.
HIV/AIDS is not the same epidemic it was 30 years ago, but it's far from over. You see, even today, right here in the US, someone is infected with HIV every 9.5 minutes. Imagine the day when new HIV infections are a thing of the past. Listen, ending HIV is not magic. All of us have the basic tools to end the epidemic. Break the silence. Talk to family, friends, church, your community, and coworkers. Be a role model. Take the 20 minutes to get tested and encourage others to follow your lead. If you're HIV negative, take steps to stay negative. If you're HIV positive, protect yourself and others. If you're HIV positive, talk to your doctor about HIV treatment while you're still feeling well. Get involved. With all of us fighting stigma and discrimination, we will turn the tide.
It's within our grasp. We have the tools.
It takes all of us.
HIV ends with us.
Because HIV ends with us.
All right, now welcome back to the Truth in the Church Girl. Here we have our girl Nico Flowers, and she's going to talk to us today about HIV stops with her and how important it is to know your status.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you
Nico.
so much. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
So why don't you tell us about you and this whole motto that you have, HIV stops with me. Where did that come from? What's that all about?
But it's actually a campaign that they have actually models. I'm a person that's living with HIV for the past 26 years, 27 years, this coming April. So when I was diagnosed when I was in college, actually, my first sexual encounter. And when I was diagnosed at 19. And at 19, you're a baby. You still don't know what's going on left from right. You think you're grown, but really you're totally clueless. So I really didn't know what to do with that information when I tested positive. And this the whole ordeal as far as with my story, as far as me finding out and going to the clinic. I found out through what you call partner notification, which means that all of your partners are actually contacted. So my partner gave my name, but he never came to me and said, okay,
Oh, Lord.
let's go get tested. I found out that I was exposed, and let's go get tested. And the day I got tested, I'm in the clinic, and I'm sitting there. I was already told I have HIV. The nurse was like, oh, well, we don't know what to do for you. It's pretty much hey, I don't know why you're upset, why you're crying. You should have been thinking about that when you were doing it.
What?
It was a whole lot of stigma around
back
it
then, yeah.
at that particular time. And basically, when I found out and I'm outside waiting for the social worker to call my name, he walked in the clinic, looking at me and dumbfounded to see me there, but then shocked.
As in the
social worker.
No, my boyfriend walked in the clinic.
Oh, my
The day
gosh.
I
Are you
just
serious?
told that I was infected with HIV. And when he looked at me, he saw me, he said to me, he was like, Nico, what you doing here? So I was like, I didn't want to speak too loud because
Well, wait a minute. Didn't he give your name? What does he mean? What are you doing there?
So
he
maybe
lied and
he
said
didn't
have it. After I told him I was HIV positive, I was like, I tested positive
But he
for
gave your
HIV
name.
and what's going on. His response was he didn't have it.
Did he not realize that he gave your name as one of his sexual partners and that they were going to contact you? Maybe he didn't.
He had to go hard with the lie.
He had to go hard with the lie. And he really went hard with the lie because when I stopped dealing with him, he got married and had kids.
Oh.
So, so that's why I do HIV stops with me, because it shouldn't have to happen. When I speak in schools or speak wherever I'm invited, I let people know it happened to me. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
No one is excluded in this.
So take me back to that mental space that you were in when you learned that you had HIV at 19. Talk about that mental space and the support perhaps that maybe you got or didn't from family or friends, or did you even tell them?
I didn't. I held that for 4 years.
Wow.
That's a
Because
lot.
I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And I think I held it for 4 years was because I had already began to see not even HIV in my family, but actually AIDS in my family. Wow. And when AIDS hit my family, everybody was dying. So I associated me having HIV with, okay, well, I'm going to have HIV, and then it's going to become AIDS, and then I'm going to die.
My
so
Lord.
that was my thought process and my process. So I think mostly my family had a lot more expectations for me. That was my thinking at 19. Okay, well, I'm the first grand, we go to college, and I'm supposed to be setting an example for my younger cousins that's coming behind me and my siblings that's coming behind me.
I remember when I first started hearing about HIV, everybody was scared of anybody who had HIV or AIDS. They felt like if you touched them, you can catch it. So after the 4 years when you decided to tell your family or tell your friends, in between, were you getting, counseling? Were you getting medication?
Right.
Were you taking anything?
Nothing, because medications wasn't even available in South Carolina. That's why I moved. Wow. And when I disclosed, my mom lived here in Brooklyn. And after I disclosed, I started telling my family. I contacted my mother that lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant, and she was like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Mama, if I stay here, I'm gonna die, and I want to get up out of here." And she was like, "Well, I'll come get you." I said, "Well, I have my stuff packed."
Wow.
And that's when I moved, and that's when everything's changed. It was like a shift. It was like a total shift, and I was like, it was like it really really changed my life.
So
and
what
saved
was
my
the
life.
change? Like, was it now you were able to get medication and do the counseling?
The change was I was able to get medication. I was able to see like a doctor because after I told my family, it wasn't. I didn't really have an AIDS because I wasn't going to the doctors or anything because the social worker was like, okay, well you fine. You don't have to really worry about anything. Your T cell count, which is your immune system, like is really healthy. So you, even though you have HIV. At 19, you're sort of like, you're fine. So my thinking was, I'm fine. And then my boyfriend, he's lying, saying that he don't have it. I was like, well, maybe they got me confused.
Oh, my
that
Lord.
had me kind of like messed up too. Well, if you're saying you don't have it, that has me kind of confused. So maybe I don't have it either. Maybe they got me like really mixed up with someone else. So it was sort of like I didn't really embrace like really going to doctors and embracing going to see therapists or anything like that because it wasn't really available there for me at that particular time.
Okay. It's been 26 years, 27 this year in a couple of months, right? Can you tell us or take us through what your journey has been since that day when you were 19 years of age and you were given this news and you moved from South Carolina here to Brooklyn and you felt that you got, I guess, the assistance that you needed with the medication being available to you? When did Nico Flowers bloom? When did you find your way with HIV, giving you the voice that you have today?
Okay. It's a lady named Ray Lewis Thornton. I'm not sure if you ever heard of her. I was in my first apartment. It was in Flatbush, Brooklyn. And all of a sudden, a lady came on the TV on BET. And she started talking about, living with HIV. I think that she had gave blood. And she found out from giving blood to the Red Cross that she was actually infected with not even HIV, but actually AIDS.
Oh, my.
And she was married. So I looked at the TV and I was just amazed. I was like, wow. So she was a woman. She was African American and she looked like me.
She looked like
you. And I was like, that's me. And I was like, that's what I want to do. So when they say be careful what you pray for, be careful what you pray for.
Right.
Because all of a sudden everything just started coming in alignment of what I asked God for. Because a friend of mine, he called me out of the blue. He knew I was infected because I did a lot of advocacy work around HIV. So he called me one day. He was like, Nico, this job description just came through for this organization in Manhattan, and they're looking for speakers to share their story. And it's like, like a consulting type thing. It's sort of like when you're available. Do you want me to send you the information? I was like, yes, of course. So from then on, it was sort of like, this is what I'm supposed to do. It's not that I'm supposed to sit down and shut up and not say anything. Because a lot of people could be dying because they don't know my story.
That's right.
Or you don't know that this could be you.
Beautiful.
So I decided that, you know what? Turn the lemon into lemonade. And this is what it is. I use this as free therapy without swiping my insurance card.
I can tell.
I can go in school and share and not really have to worry about it. So it's just been like a really complete blessing, and to the point now that I'm actually like a HIV spokesmodel.
Okay.
Nice.
Tell me about your relationship with God and being at church during that time. Did anyone in the church know? Did you do any type of advocacy in the church? Were you allowed to talk about HIV or AIDS in the church?
Then?
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure.
Not at all. No. It wasn't spoken of. Even in the house. It's sort of like, well, because one time I went home, I went to South Carolina, my grandmother was still living, and I was like so surprised, and she was like, well, you dating this guy, so does he know you had the virus? Because you don't need to tell him. And I'm like, no. I said, he needs to know that.
Wow. So was it like taboo? Because I really want you to talk about the experience from inside of the church. Like, did you just choose not to say anything, or did you say something and then you were treated differently?
I just chose not to say anything.
Okay.
Because it was sort of like, don't talk about it.
Just taboo.
Because I mean, like, you know, with my family, it's sort of like, you know, what's in this house stays in this house. You don't talk about what goes on. So it was sort of like, you know, that everybody don't need to know all your business. So it was sort of like that. So I didn't really take it to the church.
Wow. Okay.
Now that's totally different now.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, and I want to talk about
Absolutely.
that. We are not done. We're going to come back with some more conversation with Ms. Nico Flowers. HIV Stops With Me. We'll be right back.
Ray Lewis Thornton is an Emmy award-winning AIDS activist, life coach, award-winning blogger, social media expert, author, and jewelry designer. Ray Lewis Thornton has been living with HIV for 32 years and AIDS for 22 years. She lectures worldwide on the topic of living with HIV/AIDS, challenging stereotypes and myths surrounding this disease.
Welcome back to The Truth in the Church, girl. We are sitting here having some great conversation with Nico Flowers. Ma, have we been inspired by you and your story so far?
Tell me about what you do in terms of this whole motto, HIV Stops With Me. What is that?
What the HIV Stops With Me is basically promoting treatment, because a lot of people are really against treatment, and I really don't understand why. Because if it wasn't for treatment, I wouldn't be here. And I mean, and it's a lot with the treatment, because I mean, like, when I first moved here, I was taking 32 pills. They were very toxic, very expensive. It's sort of like, you know, earlier we talked about cancer and, you know, everything, you want to blame it on cancer. So it was like, you know, they were very toxic, and some of the medication were for cancer patients. That they would give it to cancer patients. So from 32, I'm down to 1 pill a day.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's a
something I
process.
always
Was that
wow.
the cocktail that they used to talk about?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think when HIV first hit, they were saying you would have to take all of these different types of pills. So now they've gotten it down to 1 pill.
Yeah, they put like several medications in 1 pill.
Wow.
So now I'm on 1 pill a day. Because my 1 pill a day is $2,000 a month.
Jesus.
1 pill a day is $2,000 a month.
Yeah, because I researched it.
Wow. So what about you going around and you educating, you talking in schools? What are some of the things that you're telling these people that you talk to? And do you talk to the younger generation about HIV?
Yeah, I speak from middle school
Wow.
up to college.
Wow.
Yeah.
As far as the junior high school and the high school children, how do they respond?
Very opening, very opening.
Really?
I was shocked today because a young lady pulled me aside after the presentation was over, because we were done. And it was like, you know, shut it down. So I saw a young lady in the back. So I walked to the back, and she was asking me about anal sex, because I know anal sex has a lot to do with culture. Because a lot of young girls, they was like, oh, well, I want to keep my virginity, because if my mom takes me to the doctor, they'll see my hymen is still in place, and she won't know that I'm sexually active. But then you having anal sex, I'm like, that's the most riskiest.
That's right.
And it scared her.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wait, the kids asked you?
Yes, they don't.
A young girl asked me that.
Oral sex and anal sex
This is
is
what's
just-
happening.
Right.
Can you get like HIV or any STD from anal sex? I said,
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. I said that's the easiest.
It sure
She looked at me
is.
shocked. I was scared. It's the easiest.
Okay. Tell me about, I heard that there's a new medication out where if you come into contact with somebody who has HIV, you can take a pill and you have to take it for a while, and it will, you know, you won't be exposed to it if you take that pill.
Yeah,
What is
that has been out for a while. It's called PEP.
Okay.
PEP. And then they have PrEP, and I'll explain what both of them are.
Okay.
So what PEP is designed to do is PEP is post-prophylactic antiretrovirals, which is the medications, the cocktail that they give you.
Okay.
So it's 1 pill a day that you take. So if you ever assaulted, you were raped, or you have sex with someone and they disclose to you that they're HIV positive, or you got an assumption you think they're HIV positive, you go to the emergency room and you ask for PEP. And when you walk in, they'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Wow.
So they'll give you the medication no questions asked. And what they will do, what the medication will do is, as soon as you start the PEP, I think you got like 36 hours to get to the hospital. And the medication is designed to, if you've been exposed to it, the medication will actually stop infection from happening.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it will actually stop it from happening. So
Come a long way.
Come a very long way.
But how long do you have to take that?
I think it's like 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6
6 months, yes. Wow.
Because that's like the incubation period,
It's
right?
like the incubation period, so they want you to like start it ASAP. They don't want you to like mess around with it. However, you can't like, oh well, you having unprotected sex, for like this year, and you're gonna wait 9 months.
Right, no.
You want to go back and you want to. It's not. No, you can't use it like that. Yeah, because some people may do that. Yeah, some people like, oh well, since I'm gonna get PAP, like I expose myself, so I can go back and like maybe like in 9 months and go give me some more PAP.
So if someone is, I'm tripping. If someone is exposed or they think they're exposed and they go take this, they may have the mindset that I'm going to go back raw and keep doing it. And I'm covered with, because I'm on PEP. But you're saying that won't work.
No, not at all. Because they're different strands of virus.
That's right.
And then our bodies get immune
the first
to stuff.
strand may be A, and the other strand may be A, B, C, D, E. So
it's the truth.
Yeah, it's there. And PrEP is for I think it's called seroconversion partners. Like a person who, like I'm infected, so if I wanted to date a guy that's actually negative, and we get married or whatever, he can take PrEP to keep from getting HIV.
PrEP, the PrEP.
Is that a one-shot deal or is that continual?
That's continual, because as long as you in a relationship and you sexually active
with one another,
and that's to keep him from contracting the virus.
That's very interesting.
And so does that mean that a pregnant woman, if her husband is HIV and she takes it, then it would be okay for her to have a baby?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, there are babies who are born without HIV.
Yeah, they are.
And the beautiful thing about babies, because we have advanced, I think it's less than 1% of babies born HIV positive to positive mothers here. And I think it's basically really in the U.S., but I know like New York really adopted it. The beautiful thing about babies is if you are born to HIV positive mother and you have HIV when you're born, the baby can take medications for three months. I think 6 weeks, I think 3 months. And the baby sheds off the mother's immune system.
Right? Yeah.
Sheds off the mother's immune system and grows its own.
Wow.
Faster than it normally would. Okay.
Wow. I mean, we've cut
because
27
the
years
medication
come a long way.
empty it out. Yeah.
Wow, Nico.
That's a lot of information. Great information. What I want you to do now is look into that camera. HIV stops with me. What do you want the people to know?
I want people to know that with HIV stops with me, if you contract the virus, there's life afterwards. You can't live with this. I'm living testimony of it. But main thing is you want to make sure that you stay safe and stay healthy. And if you have to be sexually active, make sure to use condoms. Communicate. I always tell people that. Communicate. Your knowledge may be different from someone else's knowledge. And just know that, if you don't have HIV, you don't want HIV, but if you have HIV, you can't live with it.
Awesome stuff.
Folks, we thank you. This has been a lot of information for me. I'm kind of like, whoa, I didn't know half of this stuff. Probably 75% of this stuff I didn't know. So we want to thank Nico Flowers for coming. We'll be right back.
There have been so many phenomenal African American women who have made significant strides in our history. Today, we salute First Lady Michelle Obama. Michelle LaVaughn Robinson was born in Chicago. Prior to her marriage, she studied law at Princeton and Harvard University. She was the only African American woman to work at the law firm Sidley Austin. It was there that she met her future husband, who would change the lives of millions, Barack Obama. In 2009, Michelle Obama became the first Black First Lady in the history of the United States of America. Since in office, she has inspired, uplifted, and encouraged change in our future, our children. Yes, First Lady Michelle Obama, through her Let's Move campaign, continues to lead the fight against childhood obesity and has challenged children to get fit. Soliciting the help of well-known celebrities, Michelle Obama created #GiveMe5 as a way to promote healthy eating and exercise in the lives of American citizens. She is a beacon of light not only to the world, but to her two daughters. Her down-to-earth advice and drop-the-mic moments have taught our young girls that they can be anything they dream of by getting an education and focusing on what's important.
If I had worried about who liked me and who thought I was cute when I was your age, I wouldn't be married to the President of the United States.
The ever-engaging, always graceful and elegant First Lady is constantly featured in magazine's Best Dressed list. Although she is scheduled to leave the White House this year, her impact will continue to be felt for decades to come. Her style, class, and representation of Black women in America have shown every brown-complexioned woman you can be anything you put your mind to. First Lady Michelle Obama, we salute you and we thank you for being a leading lady.